But
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Believe in Kentucky. My name is Vinny Hardy. My guy Cole Parker, the Cat's Paws, is en route back to Lex from the Garden, New York City. Things didn't go well. Coming to y'all courtesy of the Believe Network, live on YouTube. Check out all the links. Follow us on Twitter. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Take a little second and leave a little review and spread the word and tell your friends all about it. Got a good friend in here from KY Insider. He does his writing, podcasting, photogging, media thing. Young fella coming up doing his thing. Kai McClellan is in here to chop it up, man. Kai, appreciate you hopping in here with a little short notice to talk some cats, man.
yes, sir, man. Ain't no problem at all. I got a few minutes to always talk about the Wildcats any time of the day.
Yeah. We yesterday, man, it was some kind of evening. We had lots of really bad and lots of really good because the men and women playing at the same time.
Yeah, I was glad I got to be at the game where they got a win. Thankfully, I was taking some photos on the sideline of the women's game. Uh, I know we have a whole lot more to talk about on the men's side, so I'll just kind of break that down for you. But like the women's team is 6-0. They haven't dipped under 75 points once so far this season. Like everything's clicking. Like the Kenny Brooks era is looking sharp to start off. But I will say they haven't played jack crap. They played one power four, and they've been playing some lesser opponents, to put it nicely. So it was kind of the same vibe last year. So I'm adamant to see what happens when they have Louisville coming up this Saturday. They got a top 10 Maryland team in Puerto Rico. Like they have some big matchups coming up. So I'm very curious to see how they do in that.
So, good to handle business. Purdue was a power name in name only, but hey, you supposed to be a good team. Beat these teams like you're supposed to, and that's what they've done. And they were up to the challenge, a good competition last year. With beat Louisville at home in historic Memorial Coliseum. So, the Cards, of course, want revenge, but got a good team again. I mean, Claire Strack is, living up to the hype. The
Oh
transfers,
yeah.
you lose Georgia A. Moore, but Tony's coming in, and still got Amelia. So you still got some solid vets, and the newcomers are mixing in. It's what you want to see, and so far they're doing it.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued by Claire Strack because obviously she was good last year, but this year she is the Georgia Amore, if that makes sense. She's Kentucky superstar. And like Kenny even said after the game, like we've used Clara in like recruiting and like trying to win people over. So it's like she's been given this superstardom, and that they've played 6 games and she's had 5 double doubles already with like multiple blocks. And it's just like you I don't want to put too much hype around her name that's not already there, but like this is another WNBA pick for Kenny Brooks. Like I don't if she stays at this rate, like there's no way she comes back to college. Like it's just like, I would imagine she has to go to the league.
Yeah, and she's stepping on into it. Quiet kind of personality, but she's shouldering that, like you said, that face of the program kind of
Mhm.
role. Tiani Key is another solid returning player that can maybe break out and take another step as well, which you'd like to see. Uh, they're just overwhelming teams with their length again. Going to be one of the taller teams in the country. Even with Silva transferring out, they're still going to block a ton of shots and just smother teams that way. So it's shaping up to be another fun season. And this is, he's still just getting started.
Yeah, for sure. And like uh Tony Morgan's insane. Like I think I was kind of worried about like the playmaking a little bit. I knew she was it was very funny how like Jalen Lowe and Tony Morgan came in to Kentucky because they're like so traditional and they play the game like so slow and melodic at their own pace. They like to get others involved. They're never like shot first by any means. But at the same time, it's like, how do you replace Georgia? Like Georgia's one of the she was in the same conversation as Caitlin Clark at one point, and it's just like that's above superstardom. That's like legend status. So it's hard to replace that and fill in those shoes, but you have a 16 assist game and an 11 assist game, and it's like you you're almost saying she's better at this point playmaking than Georgia was. So it's a crazy thing to say, but it's true.
Strong words, strong words. It's good that we started off with the positive, I guess, because
Yeah.
and it was, you flipping off between commercials, flipping over to the Purdue game, and like, oh yeah, cool. They're already up 7-0 over there. They're just punching them in the mouth because it was the exact opposite on the men's side in Madison Square Garden against Michigan State. Man, just
Yeah, I still don't know what to make of it. Like it was like just a very classic like got out coach, got out played, got out rebounded. Like there wasn't a thing I don't think Kentucky really did in my eyes that was like trumping Michigan State. Like it just felt like Izzo was more prepared. The lights weren't too bright for Michigan State. And I don't know if you watched the press conference after, but like Mark Pope seemed very like he was more disappointed in himself, which is very weird for a coach. Like I haven't seen much of it, but for a coach to take that much accountability, like he was acting like the players weren't the ones on the court playing the actual game. It was like he was just sitting there pouting and like taking all the blame. And you appreciate that type of humility from a coach, but at the same time, like uh, I've never seen. I'm always used to him like being bubbly and encouraging and like all this. That was the first time I've experienced him like be a sore loser, quote unquote, and it was just weird for me.
yeah, and it's the opposite of Cal. Cal was so maybe nonchalant about it. Yeah, whatever. Everybody wanted him to be, be mad about it. Be like us. We lost to
Yeah,
Tennessee. Oh God, we lost to North Carolina. Oh, our rivals. And now Mark Pope is like almost to the other extreme. Like, you gotta hurt, but you also gotta try to, like you said, still be confident, or hey, we're gonna get through this. And he kind of felt like he was overwhelmed, or didn't have an answer, or
yeah,
look, honestly, mm, this this kind of may be the feeling pre-Rupp Arena press conference when he first got hired. This is probably why everybody was thinking, "Oh, I don't know if he's the guy. I don't know if he's done quite enough to be
yeah,
Kentucky's coach." Then you come in, you have the press conference, everybody kind of gets on board. He gets the roster together real quick, overachieves, and then we all just kind of forget about, hey, okay, he's proven that he's knows the assignment, understands the assignment. The stuff we're getting now is probably what we should have. It's in reverse. Maybe
yeah,
you take your
exactly.
lumps last year, and oh, you're in over your head, and oh, this job might be too big. You might not be ready. His resume, BYU. This ain't BYU. It's like we're getting that in year two instead of year one. Chemistry issues, whatever they are, and every team can potentially have to deal with them. Whatever's got everybody in the funk. Maybe it is bad roster construction. Maybe it's a combination of everything, but it's your job to sort through all this. And
Yeah,
last night, man, it was, I mean, you couldn't defend, you couldn't rebound, you couldn't get good shots, couldn't run offense, the shot select, like you just weren't good in anything. I know it's one game, but you said it. The two good teams you played. You've been, I mean, Louisville ended up being close, but you took a beating in
Right.
both of those games.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like the big talk's like identity, right? Like, what's the team's identity? And like an obvious outsider would be like, oh, Tego Away's the best player, make sure he gets his 20 points and then everyone else will fill in. But they're so balanced and they have so many guys to sort through. But then Louisville, they're without Trent Noah, but you toss Jalen Lowe back in. And then now this ranked game, you're without both of them. And then you're also, you know, not mentioning, well, Trent Noah played, but Jaden Quaintance is out of the equation too. And it's just like you have all these little pieces that, right when they find their identity, it's like, hey, Denzel Aberdeen, you have to go back to the bench. Jalen Lowe's back. Brandon Garrison, they're saying Malachi Moreno should start now, and I completely agree. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like when JQ is back. And they're missing an inside presence. They're missing a true playmaker, and sadly, those guys are sitting on the sidelines. And it's like, what do you do about it?
Yeah.
You can't pout. You can't do anything. You just got to go out there and play. And it's a weird dynamic because like I'm sure you would agree, but like when Jaden Quaintance is back and Jalen Lowe's on the floor, everything will be a whole lot smoother, a whole lot easier for everybody. More shots will get up, more offensive rebounds, more plays set up. It's just like a whole trickle effect when you have those guys on the court. But now it's just kind of like a weird in between where you're just waiting for that mid-December mark for both of them to be on the court or whatever. And it's just like, you know, you can't keep Big Blue Nation waiting for a win. And it's like they're desperate for one against a team that's, actually big time.
And with all that said, with with the guys out, your number one point guard that came transferred, the potential NBA lottery pick at center, both of those not in the mix, you probably still expect a little better effort defensively. You don't, I mean, to
Yeah.
get carved up like that from now Louisville, efficient team, get up and down, elite shooting, in that Alabama mode, analytical type squad. Okay, and they scored 85 in Rupp last year in a
Hmm.
loss. So for them to score 90 something, okay, it's going to be a track meet. But Michigan State to be a more physical team, a team with supposedly not a lot of firepower. Um, you mentioned not having JQ, but second year Brandon Garrison is supposed to. I mean, he's not Amari Williams, we know, but you think, okay, this is a chance for him to show improve against some bruisers, and we didn't get that. And then
Yeah.
they were getting any look they wanted on the perimeter. Um, Always still out there, good defender. Diabate, we saw him defend Oway at Alabama. He's a good defender.
Hmm.
Him shooting threes is not. He's open for a reason. Everybody, look, so
Right.
if you struggle offensively because you don't have a point guard, okay, but defensively, to for them to just have no resistance.
Right.
You're losing people to the layups they got, the open. I mean, what 4 or 5 threes right off the bat, and then they just kept hitting them. you know,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
well I'll throw in a reference. Hopefully more people get it. But like the year after UNC went to the national championship, lost to Kansas, everybody returned. They had Baycott come back, RJ Davis, Caleb Love, their whole championship team outside of like Brady Manick returned. And they were preseason number one, hyped up. Nobody could beat Carolina. They rolled through everybody. And then what happens? They lose 14, 15 games, miss the tournament completely.
uh,
And they completely like defied all expectations in a bad way. So I don't want to say it's the same vibe, but when visually like Denzel Aberdeen's the only guy who's like actually trying and like wants to win a ball game, like it's like you turn the ball over and there's like turn the ball over instead of like full sprinting back to get back on defense. Like I see a lot of bad body language. I see a lot of bad chemistry moments. I see a lot of bad like talk about identity. There's no accountability. There's no true leader that I'm really like seeing with my eyes. The only one is like Denzel Aberdeen. And like you said earlier, to your point, Modi and Ortega, they're seniors. They've been through the rut. They've been through all these big games. Like I would think that they would be out there like being the big brother in quote and just like trying to help the team, like give them a boost or something. And they're
No,
the ones trying to act cool, swinging their arms, acting like they're tying their shoe, fixing their shorts. Like they're not actually like out there to play ball. And that's what it seems like. And it's so weird because we've seen Ortega go on a spurt of dropping 18 straight points and taking
no.
over a game. And I'm like, I know that no one's capable of doing that every night, but when you see a player do it once, you start to be like, oh, well, let's see if he can do it right now against Michigan State. And it never came, never had
Yeah.
a moment. It was
He hit a,
weird.
he hit a shot or two early, took it to the cup, maybe got fouled, missed the dunk, but I was like, okay, at least we're staying a little fire.
Right.
That was in the first early stages of the game. I'm like, okay, maybe he did come to play. He got the run out and punched that one, but like overall, it still wasn't the same guy. Um, Identity, it goes back to identity. He's trying to be a new role. He's preseason player of the year. Um, the court maybe is congested because there's not, you don't have to stay on the shooters. I mean,
Hmm.
nobody is running to close out Mo. Loves what he can bring, but nobody's running to close him out. Dudes are just standing in the paint, packing, sagging off of him. So, maybe that's messing Owe up a little bit. It's just so much to try to fix, and where do
Right.
you start? It's you get now. You look at Cal when Cal's tenure was getting rocky, and you lose in the first round to St. Peter's and Oakland. It got to the point where the regular season didn't matter. It's all about what are they gonna do with the first weekend? Are they gonna get out of the first weekend?
Yeah.
That was what the whole season boiled down to. Can they get to the Sweet 16? And now, it's what are we going to do in the next big game? Okay, yeah, Loyola, Maryland, Tennessee Tech. Okay, fine. Indiana, North Carolina. Are we going to see improvement? Are we going to see growth? Can you beat a good team? Can you beat a high profile team? That's basically what this team is kind of painted himself into a corner on.
Yeah, very true. And like, just tying it all back again, like he offered no update on Jalen, no offer or no update on JQ. And, I think preseason we were kind of eyeing for the game before North Carolina or around that mark for Jaden Quaintance to make his season opener. And, he said back in, gosh, I want to say August, he's like, or maybe early September, he's like, JQ is improving like I've never seen. Like, I want to be surprised if he's back on the court soon. And now it's 2.5 months later, and we don't really have like another barring update. We know he went back to like live 5-on-5, but besides that, it's like, it's kind of a world where like, okay, Indiana, that's a tough game, a very tough game. North Carolina has already proven this season that they're like a scary competitor with Caleb Wilson and the roster they've constructed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of worry a little bit. You're like, is Kentucky okay? Like, I don't think it's coming to a point where anyone's worried too far, like we're not going to make the tournament. But it's like last year when you're put in a bubble of they won so many ranked games it doesn't matter. But what if you don't win those big top 15 ranked games and you only have 20 some wins and double digit losses, and The committee's looking at you compared to another team, and it's like, who would they really beat? Like they've beat some SEC teams here and there, and that's a scary thought.
Yeah, and the SEC is going to be a little bit weaker, so you might not have the resume building potential that you had last
Exactly.
year. Um, St. John's, you got Patino, the master, not trying to let the student beat him. Gonzaga, you mentioned, what's up with JQ and no inside presence. EK is back for his 17th year with the Zags. So he's a
Right.
problem. He's a problem every time we play him. He's a problem when Cal was there. He was a problem last year. Kentucky came back and got the win. But look, that dude is a load. And what bigs are we going to have to throw out there against him? Marino is young and inexperienced, but he might be the best we got.
That's why it's like
Right now.
when that's your best option, that's very sad. And like I understand why Pope's beating himself up a little bit. I get it, but I don't know. It's like I think I grew up around Kentucky fans all my life, and as I'm like in the world now, it's all the puzzle pieces are starting to connect a little bit more. But I see the like constant expectations and the culture and like everything just piling in. I can't imagine the feeling right now. Like it's probably embarrassing when you've lost 2 games, dude. Like chill out. You have December, January, February, March, and you have all these little weeks and practices that you have time to fix things.
You
But he's
do.
lost the second game and he's like so visually depressed, and it's just like it, it's so clear that like this this isn't his standard, and so he's like beating himself up for it, and it's just I keep saying it, but it's just so weird to me, and like I'm piecing it all together now.
And you mentioned you're growing up in Kentucky. This is how we are. Do we panic too much? Is it overreaction to losses? Yes.
Like
I mean,
everyone
I go,
wanted to fire Stoops 4 weeks ago, but now they've won a couple games in a row, and they're like, "We love Stoops, let's
yeah,
keep him around for another year. Why not?"
yeah. But in basketball, which Kentucky's a basketball school, it's a basketball state. Now there's social media, but pre-social media, I mean, I'm 18 years old. I go to my grandparents' house. My granddad's upstairs in this little man cave area. He's got the game on. He's yelling at the TV. Shoot the ball. Oh, that's come on, man, granddad. He's fussing. I go to my granny's, my aunt. She's just like, first thing we do, talk about the Cats. If it's going good, we talk about it's going good. Then a little rough patch. Oh man, what is wrong with the Cats? It's just we're all doing it. Not everybody's doing it on social media, and
Hmm.
it's just the talking about the Cats like we do statewide, nationwide, worldwide as BBN. But look, Stoops, Pope knows what he's getting into. He played here. He knows the fishbowl. He knows the expectations. I mean, his pressure. Understood the assignment. He knows what the assignment is. Um, you also got to know that his teammates, all the 96 guys, they're in group text. They're probably wearing him out about, he's probably hearing it from them. Uh, Anthony Epps was on Twitter last night talking about, he said, basically begging. He said, please guard the 3-point line. Please. And, he played with Pope, won a championship, was a starting point guard on that
Right.
squad. He also put out, I know it's early, but that defensive effort was hard to watch. That's his former teammates saying that. And they're boys. That's my guy. They're all glad he got the job, but he's like, yo, man, this ain't it. So
Yeah.
Pope has to know. I mean, maybe he didn't handle it right. Maybe he should have showed a little more confidence, but he knows that this ain't it, and he knows he got a ton to try to fix. And not a lot of time. Last year he kept talking about, I wish I had more time. Wish I had more time because he liked the team. The culture was good. They were overachieving, and he just wished he had more time to get. And the season flies by, and
Yeah.
December turns into February fast. The next thing you know, you've played 8 SEC games, and here comes bracketology. So he's just gotta roll up his sleeves and try to sort through this.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it felt like with all the, I'm hoping we get some sign of heart because last year I remember Berea being hurt, Andrew Carr being hurt, Lamont especially being hurt, Jackson Robinson being sidelined for as long as he was. And every time they stepped back on the court, it was like it was their last in a Kentucky jersey because they were so unsure if a shoulder was going to pop back out or there's going to be another back issue or, something was lingering behind. And it's like, I'm kind of really hoping that one night someone just decides, like if it's the Indiana game or the UNC game, it's like, you know what, I'm tired of like all this. Like let me go get a bucket. And
Mm,
I'm hoping that's like Lamont against Louisville. Perfect game.
yes.
Who in the world was expecting that out of him
Yeah.
in that type of game? And now it's cemented in like the rivalry's history. I reposted it like Throwback Thursday. Remember when Lamont Butler did this to Louisville? And
Yes.
it's you have like the Tyrese Maxey shot and all these little moments splurted in. Like I'm praying we have like an Otego Way 30 bomb against North Carolina and they kill him. And that's coming from a UNC fan. Like I just hope there's a moment like that, just waiting. And vibes are low, but you know, at least there's that slimmer of like ability and all this that we know every player's capable of doing
Hmm. See, I wasn't gonna reveal your true fandom, but you
that.
just but yeah, you do a great job of covering in Kentucky, KY Insider and photography and everything too. Um, real quick, man, volleyball
Another,
ninth straight SEC title, man. Number one seed going to the first ever SEC tournament in Savannah, Georgia this weekend.
mhm.
Best team on campus, and that continues to be the case.
Yeah, and I mean Craig Skinner, talk about coaching. I mean, 3 years in a row now, SEC Coach of the Year. I mean, what he's built is just unfathomable. And you know, there's expectations for volleyball, but at the same time, it's like there's no one better. They beat number two Texas. They've beat other big dogs throughout the season. There's teams in the SEC who don't even like stoop to that type of level. And so it's like, I don't want to just, I don't think it's crazy that I think they're just going to blow through the SEC tournament and win it all. And, the only team I see competing with them is Texas, and they already beat Texas. They've
Yeah,
already proven they can beat them on any night. So it's like, you know, what else do you say? But they win a lot, they lose rarely, and like you just kind of have this pre-notion that they're going to continue to dominate. There's no
yeah,
sign of them not being able to do that.
yeah. There's no peaking too soon. Just Coach Skinner is just pushing all the right buttons and doing what he does and has been doing for years over there, man, and elevating the sport in the process, raising awareness and putting more eyeballs on it, and selling out HMC, and he's standing on desk and he's in the Raptors erupt, and he's just doing what he's got to do to bring
Yeah.
attention, man.
The women's sports have a special place in my heart. And when the football team's not dominating per se, and the men's basketball team is dominating, it puts a warm place in my heart to know that the volleyball team has won whatever, like 24 straight, and the women's basketball team is then like now 6-0 already. I mean, it's nice, and they have Kentucky across their chest. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And I think there's a merging like thing at our university. I don't know if it's happening nationally, but like our university, there's not really men's, women's anymore. It's just like Kentucky plays tonight or
Mhm.
Kentucky plays this Saturday, show out. And that means a lot to me. And there's a warm place in my heart for that.
Absolutely. And men's soccer is in the tournament in St. Louis too, so you gotta
Yeah.
wish them well.
I think the
It's
only
bigger.
like the women's soccer team is the only team right now that's not, in contention for anything, like getting eliminated by Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that sucks, but like outside of
Yeah.
that, literally every team on campus is like, you know, in some sort of action, whether that be postseason or regular season.
Yeah.
It's a cool world.
That's it. So, what do you think happens Saturday in Nashville? The Cats trying to contain Pavia and Vanderbilt,
Oh
and
wow.
a Vanderbilt stadium that'll be full of Vanderbilt fans for the
Yeah.
first time maybe ever.
I'm gonna be there on the sideline, so
There you
I'm
go.
looking forward to it. I don't know. That's probably my best answer is I have no idea. Like I don't think there's a middle ground. I think it's either like Vandy blows through the water or Kentucky keeps it close. I don't think there's a world where like Kentucky outright wins or Vandy like barely wins. I think it's just gonna be like a helmet to helmet type of game. That's what I'm hoping for at least.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we talk about the men's basketball team, what matters more than ability and coaching and all this is confidence. And when you win a couple games in a row and you have a freshman quarterback who's an absolute stud and just lowering his shoulder against a Tennessee Tech team and doesn't care who's in front of him, like
Uh-huh.
when you have that type of mojo to you and you can like scrunch your nose and go make a play, like that will trump over any national AP ranking or any record that a team has. So, Diego plays the same way, like you're saying. So I think it will be a really good game. I don't see a world where Kentucky goes in there and gets blown out. I really don't.
Yeah, and I don't know if we would have said that 6 weeks ago, but
Oh no,
but
like I had Vandy as an upset win preseason. I remember people were like, Vandy's an upset. And it's like, well, yeah, dude. I was like, of course it is at this point. It's a real statement we got to say.
yeah,
Vandy's dangerous.
they are. They are. So tell everybody where they can find your work and the photog stuff you were doing, all the good
Oh, yeah.
pictures that tell everybody know where they can find you and what you're into, man. What's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, if you go to KY Insider on any social media platform, you'll probably see my face or something I'm doing or working on. But then also my at is Fourwall. It's FOURWAL, and then the last L is a one. You can find that Instagram, Twitter, and then you can just search my name up as well, Kai McClellan, and anything will pop up. Um, but yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, I'm trying to do a little bit of everything: podcast, writing, photogging a little bit, just trying to stay busy and hopefully see more wins from the Wildcats.
That's it. That's a good way to look at it, man. We appreciate all the good stuff you're doing, man. Keep up the good work, and appreciate you hopping on short notice before you go to work today, man. So
Yes, sir.
thanks a lot, everybody. Check Kai out at KY Insider at Four Wall, and keep checking us out here at Believe in Kentucky. Cole and I'll be back doing our thing. We'll have some more guests lined up as well. Have to get Kai back on in the future sometime too. Talk about our Rockets because we are Rockets fans. Talk about what Reed is doing in addition to helping KD and our man Thompson and Shingun out. Have to have a little Rockets talk next time we have you on. But man, Kai, appreciate you so much and hope you have a good evening. Everybody rate, review, subscribe. Helps the podcast grow. Whatever platform you listen or watch on, we definitely appreciate it. And for my man, Kyle McClellan, my name is Vinny Hardy. It's been another episode of Believe in Kentucky, and we'll see everybody next time. Go Cats. We'll holler at y'all later.